Can I ask you what you identify as?
Identify?
Ethnicity?
I identify as an American.
The best people when it comes to stating things without facts to back them up are the wokies. They'd say just about anything to appear smart, but end up achieving the exact opposite. Put on your seatbelts because we'd be taking you on a journey to see woke people who instantly regretted speaking up.
And what's the biggest problem? Men can't find the what? Urethra. G-spot, the clit, the urethra. What school did you go to? That's what I say when I find the G-spot. Eureka! I got it! The prostate gland. The clit. Why? Why, ladies? Why? Because I'm an idiot? Because you're an idiot. Maybe because you're a bitch and we don't want to fucking please you. Maybe that. Maybe we're tired of these bitchy women. We're like, we know where it is. But we're tired of being called idiots. Yeah, you fucking idiot. You fucking idiot. Where's the urethra? Where is it? Get it. Fucking bitch. White guy. Look at us.
That escalated quickly. The best way to handle people like this.
Bradford, in your testimony, did I understand you right? So that you want to end all plastic manufacturing?
I said the plastics industry must be stopped.
So does that mean end plastic manufacturing?
I mean, in my dream world, sure, but I think that, go ahead.
I don't mean to be condescending here. I'm just pointing out, what's going to replace your glasses? Like,
so
I
do
wear your
know
glasses around your face. They're made of plastic.
Maybe.
No,
I don't know what they're made out of.
They are. Because I just want to be realistic when we're having conversations. Because when statements are made like this, I just want to open people's eyes. That's easy to say, but what's the solution? Your water bottle in front of you.
This one?
Yes. That plastic?
No.
The lid is. That's plastic.
Right. So
Right.
I would say to your question that I would first be concerned about single-use plastics, and then we can talk about alternatives to this.
Your cell phone there, is it plastic?
The cases. But it's glass because
The water that you filled that water bottle up with, where'd you fill that water bottle up out of?
a water filling station.
All right, and it was delivered by a drink station that was plastic?
I didn't check.
The edges are. The piping coming to it. Now, you have a couple choices with the piping. We could go back to using wood, but then you have to line it in chemical. Or we could go back and use lead, because we used to have water piping that was lead. That was harmful to us. We go back to galvanized, but galvanized rust and had discoloration. We go back to copper, but copper has to be mined, and everybody wants to stop mining in the U.S. I point this out because the clothes you have on, I guarantee you have plastic in it. The shoes you have on your feet, the soles of those shoes are plastic. So we talk about any plastic manufacturing, and everybody in here cheers when you say that, but everybody here is depending on plastic as you set. So if you want to end it, then quit using it. It's kind of like, I don't shop at certain places right now because I don't agree with some of their...
Those with the least knowledge tend to have the strongest opinions based on nothing and yell the loudest.
What happens in California if you murder a pregnant woman?
What?
What do you get charged with if you murder a pregnant woman in California?
I'm not even sure what you're talking about.
It's called a double homicide. That baby's still in the stomach, so wouldn't abortion be murder at that point?
I don't even know what you're talking about, honestly, man. I think you're just throwing out stuff from Twitter.
Once someone is exposed as being intellectually dishonest, there's no further reason to communicate with them.
There was another tweet that said the Democratic Party is comprised of racist white liberals.
That is correct.
Am I a racist white liberal?
Well, let's go back. I will say this, that many people in the party are not aware of their own racism. Let's go back to an early part of this conversation where you said to me, are you concerned about the color in the White House? Why would you ask me that question?
Because you speak about black issues.
No, but why would you ask me? But let's get to really the nucleus of this. Why did you ask me that question today?
Because you're bringing a whole group of young African American leaders to the White House.
Okay, so this is something that I talk about often, is that in many ways, what liberals don't realize that you put on that, the racism and the conversations that we have.
So you're saying I'm a racist?
You haven't let me finish my statement. You keep cutting me off.
Go ahead.
Okay. The emphasis that you place is always on having a discussion about race. Okay. You guys are insistent on having a conversation about race and telling us that we should see. If you don't look at me according to the color of my skin, you would simply ask me how I thought that Trump was doing as a president. You try to drum up a conversation that's surrounded by race by asking me, are there enough black people in the White House?
You're bringing a whole group of young black leaders to the White House.
color, I
clearly
don't.
That's something that's important to you.
But why are you talking
but
about?
Then why make it that you're going to bring young black leaders to the White House? I mean, this is
Because
sort of
you
absurd.
say that. Because the media, as in the whole.
This is absurd. You're bringing this group to the White House.
It's not absurd.
Just to be clear.
I'm trying to be extremely clear with you.
I know.
It's
But
to
you
the
view
White
me
House.
as a racist white
I think
liberal.
that you're not. First off, you put those words in my mouth, and you keep saying
No, you
it.
do.
So I said that the Democrat Party is comprised of racist white liberals. Is every person in the party racist? No, but that you put these racist tones out into the media. This is why we have to bring the black conservatives to the president, because you create a narrative when you're on TV like you did today.
I have questions for you as well, but we actually have to get out of the segment now.
Do you think that language is helpful, though? I mean, just in terms of the national conversation.
Well, I could ask you, do you think it's helpful to ask me, just because I'm a black woman, if I'm comfortable with the amount of color that's on the administration? Do you think that that's helpful?
I think it's helpful and introspective.
It's not. It's you just trying to create an undertone that Donald Trump is racist, and it's wrong.
No. But I just want to say, I just want to say,
you're looking at me on the basis of my skin color, and make a bunch of deductions. I did not. You said that, and we can run the tape back. You said that.
Here's what I want to say.
You quoted it, but you were not added in that tweet, so do not say that I called you that, because that's dishonest, and we are on TV, so you can run. Okay, so I did not call you a racist. You're using the typical leftist tactic of trying to make yourself a victim, which is not something that I will accept.
No, but we're actually.
And this interview left that female host fired. She sure does regret trying to constantly speak over Candace.
You're now a biological male wearing a dress with a pair of leggings. Do you sincerely believe that I should be subject to punitive justice on the basis of what I'm wearing? And if so, are you willing to turn yourself in for wearing women's panties in your gay college film?
Well, I'll take those questions in order, I guess. The first one, I would encourage you to behave as a man, is what I would do, because you are a man, and I don't know how exactly you came to the point where you think you're a woman or very much would like to be a woman, but you aren't. And I don't think anyone who is affirming your delusion is helping you. I don't think that they're actually an ally of yours. And I think it will not lead to your flourishing. I think it will only immiserate you. And so you might hate me for telling you the truth, but I think the truth will set you free. And furthermore, your masquerading as a woman does infringe on the legitimate rights of other people, the rights of women to have their own bathrooms. I don't know if you're an athlete. I'm not much of an athlete myself, but the rights of women to have their own sports leagues and the like. That is not something that you have a right to do, no matter how sincerely you believe the fantasy that you're a woman.
The majority of these people know they are never going to compete in life as a man, so they go for the easy option of living as a woman, where men are expected to go easy on them and protect them.
It's not totally limitless. So when you're talking about International Women's Day, I don't know why we take the conversation around International Women's Day and make it about this.
But if anyone,
there's so many benefits.
Right, but if
to having
anyone,
a day.
according to you, can identify as a woman,
I don't see a problem with.
Just literally put their hand up and say I'm a woman.
But it's not an easy thing to do, to go out into
Actually,
the world.
it's very easy.
You might think it's easy to say, but to decide to do that, to say
what
this
does
is
doing
who,
it involve?
Whatever that person decides, but to
Does
go
it
out
look like
into the
makeup?
world and say I don't identify as perhaps the sex I
So
was
why
born
can't
as.
why can't I identify as a black lesbian?
Well, firstly, I mean, it was.
I'm serious. I'm serious. If I can identify as anything without any need to prove I'm actually what that is, why can't I on International Women's Day say I'm Piers Morgan, I'm a black lesbian?
I think taking it to a kind of absurd twist,
I think
we're
that's
talking
what.
about quite a
With
strong
respect, I think
physical
that
change.
you'd already opened the absurdity door by saying it is limitless. You can do what you like. Anyone can say I'm a woman. So I simply ask you, why can't I?
I mean, this point kind of ridicules trans people to an extent.
Actually, I think what you.
People born in the early 1900s looking at this generation like, we really went through wars and survived the Great Depression. For this,
what is a woman?
That's a stupid question, dude. That's a dumb question.
It can't answer what a woman is. It's not a trick question. What is a woman?
Someone who identifies as a woman.
What is that thing? You can't answer the question with the question. Define woman without saying woman. What is a woman? This is not a trick question, everybody. You're in college, paying for an education. What is a woman?
How about you talk to someone with media training?
You don't need media training. It's not a trick.
Well, yeah,
what is a woman?
Someone who identifies as a woman.
You can't answer the question with the.
What are you talking about?
It's like the college kids of America going hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt who think it's a trick question when you ask them what a woman is.
sometimes people are so open-minded that their brains fall out.
But I can't work many hours because of my anxiety.
You have anxiety?
Yes, I do.
What causes anxiety for you?
Lots of things.
Like what, for an example?
anything that doesn't agree with me, basically, or see things the way I do and see the good in things. That I just think that society is lost and just a bunch of hateful bullies.
He's turned you into a woman.
I am not a woman, Jesse.
Yeah, you act like one because you're afraid. You're beta.
No, you're a beta.
No. You're a beta, Michael.
No,
beta.
You are a beta.
Beta.
I am a normal man. You're a beta man.
No, you're not normal. I could think of many words to call you. Normal is not one.
I'm putting this on the bully list.
He doesn't have anxiety. He's a spoiled brat. He's an adult child with the emotional maturity of a 12-year-old.
Silent, what you are saying contributes to systemic racism in this country. It means that my students of color are pulled over and accused of stealing a car when they did not.
I'm not pulling anybody over for stealing any cars. I see many people of many different races in this room. They all seem to be doing just fine. I don't think any of them have felt violence because they listened to a lecture on basic facts about our immigration system. The question was, have I asked people in this room if they've felt as though some violence has been committed on them? No, I haven't asked, because no violence has been committed on you. Because violence is not a subjective feeling. Violence is an objective fact. And I would say to you, as a faculty member at a taxpayer-funded university, this is the foundation of liberal education. If you cannot understand that there is a difference between speech and violence, you don't understand anything that undergirds the liberal arts or liberal education. And that is a real shame. If our teachers don't understand the difference between ideas and violence, between speech and violence, then they are in no position to educate the next generation of Americans.
And if she's a lecturer calling speech violent, then her students have a right to sue her because they could be violated by her.
At some point, somebody's truth has to win. Because guess what? Your truth doesn't matter. That's still a truth
You've
claim.
had your truth in this country for the past thousands of decades.
Thousands of decades?
Not thousands. Whatever. That's a little embarrassing. But like your truth has been the narrative of this country forever.
Hasn't
and
it?
you think
Roe
yes,
versus
the
Wade
white
just
straight
got
male
repealed.
Truth,
Abortion was legal in this country for 40 years.
and before the 40 years, what was? And crime dropped.
Thankfully illegal.
40% after it went.
On top of that, oh wait, hold on. Do you think abortion lowers crime rates?
Crime dropped 40% after abortion became legal.
Why is that the case?
It's called a statistic.
Who has the most abortions in America?
Women.
Black people. Is that so? Are you trying to say the termination of blacks in the womb lower crime? That's a very racist argument.
That is not okay.
You know,
Actually,
I can't hear you. You gotta come on.
Okay, but there's a reason. There has to be.
Like, yeah, sure, go ahead.
I'm with you on everything.
Okay.
She learned more in that exchange than she did all school year.
My next guest, who is Shivani Dave. She is a journalist and a presenter at Virgin Radio, just down the corridor. Good afternoon to you, Shivani.
Good afternoon, Julia.
Thanks.
You know my pronouns are they, them. How are you doing?
Yeah. Thank you for telling me your pronouns. I use correct grammar. So the only thing I would need to refer you to is to your face would be you. But I'm not being rude. You can choose your pronouns. You can choose what you want to call yourself. But you don't get to require me to use incorrect grammar and factually incorrect things. You're not a plural. You're a one person, and you're a female person. So I will use she and her. Thank you very much.
It's disrespectful when you have to derail every single conversation to promote your delusion.
Do you feel proud of yourself for debating college kids who are unprepared to speak in front of an audience like yourself? Do you think that's a little bit silly?
Are you a voter?
I am a voter. I'm a
So
registered
I
voter.
vote and you vote. So I'm talking to voters of this country that will determine the future of Western civilization. That's what I'm doing here today. Yeah? Wait, hold on. How is it any different than a professor talking to you?
Then a professor talking to you? Who are you?
Well, important enough for you to come up to a microphone.
Actually, when I first saw this ad, I thought it was like an improv comedy thing. It looked so ridiculous that I didn't even think it was real.
Well, no, you can see. Look how popular Trump is on your campus. How does that make you feel? That's not comedy. That is a 5-alarm fire for Kamala Harris, because she's probably going to lose Pennsylvania. But no, I just want to be clear. Is there something wrong with talking to voters?
She is trying so hard to land an insult. It's clearly her only objective, and Charlie dismantled every attempt.
Now, if this had happened and it was flipped,
including you, Candace,
Cenk, you just spoke for a very long time.
Let Candace finish, please.
You're gonna have to learn to control yourself. Cenk, you're gonna have to learn how to control yourself. I know it's very difficult for you, but you just had a very long time to speak and we were quiet. I promise you can do that. You need to sit on your hands, then you should do that.
Imagine a grown man acting like a toddler on a show and getting schooled like a toddler. Ouch.
You matter too, though, but you matter too.
We do not appreciate being filmed for this.
Oh, he's not filmed. He identifies as a camera. we just kind of, I'm glad it's funny to you.
It's just very confusing.
It's just very confusing. Yeah, exactly.
Peter, I just want to get one final thought from you. Are there words that are used to describe men that offend you?
Not particularly, and if there are some I don't like, I certainly wouldn't want them banned. But it always goes back to that old adage: sticks and stones may break my bones, but there will always be something to offend a feminist.
Peter
Lloyd. No, that's just obnoxious.
Peter
Sorry,
Lloyd,
you have to give me a chance to respond to that. That is ridiculous.
She must have been even more offended after she realized she was manipulated into proving his point, not woman-manipulated.
What's her greatest accomplishment as vice president?
Being the first female all-black president. We've never had that before.
Like, I got that, but like, what's her accomplishment that made people's lives better?
I don't know. Vice presidents don't really do much, to be honest.
Can you name one thing she's done that's good?
No, probably not. That is an amazing
As of the timing of this filming, can you name me how many times she sat down for an interview?
I think that is a very weird point to make. Well, why would I count how many times Kamala Harris has had an interview?
Because she refuses to take questions from the press and media? Like, shouldn't you do that if you're the sitting vice president?
You sat down to defend someone you know nothing about? Really?
A lot of your friends have made videos that were mocking me. I did not appreciate that. But I did see as well, you were mocking me from being of average height. I can't control that. I can't control my genetics. That wasn't very, you were mocking me. I did not appreciate that.
Asking my followers if I should wear heels tonight, and I did not.
I never mocked on her appearance, and there's plenty of subject matter there, believe me, but I never did it. So I didn't appreciate that.
I mean, there's no lie there.
Why did I keep the kid? I should have
believe you, broad. We don't believe you.
You don't have to believe me. Judge will. You don't have to, because you are nobody.
Human dog shit.
You are shit. You are disgusting. I didn't like you from the first time I saw you. Because you hate women.
Out of here.
You hate women. You understand?
Hey, guys.
You have no respect for women. That's why you're here arguing right now.
You respect
women. As I brought up the video, you told me to leave.
Women. Child, you Andrew. It's Mother's Day. How do you like that? You your kid. Happy Mother's Day. And the woman next to you, she agrees with me. How does that make you feel? How does that make the entire CCP feel that you're down here getting impregnated and murdering your offspring? How does that make you feel, ladies? Does that make you feel good?
That Happy Mother's Day murderer is the first time I've seen a kill shot executed on a podcast.
So, thinking back to when I was 16 in an anatomy class, when I learned that transgender people tend to have the brain structure that confirms their identity that they identify with. And you can look that up. That's a fact.
I will look that up.
Yeah, it's a fact.
I will look that up, but I won't find it.
Yeah.
It's not a fact.
Oh.
It's not a fact.
Should we all pull out Google really quick and look?
So you're saying a trans man has the brain of a woman?
No. I'm saying that a trans man who identifies as a man will tend to have similar brain structure that a cis man would.
And where did you get that from?
Look it up. It's literally, I'm telling you, I learned it from my anatomy class when I was 16. And I looked up the fact before I walked up here because I knew that you would ask.
Okay. That's not true, but it also doesn't answer the question. So let's try to stay focused on one false claim at a time if we can.
Let's face it, as soon as these people open their mouths, they have already lost the argument.
I'm a mathematician and a physicist. You cannot tell me.
So I have a question.
And also, you're not a biologist.
So I have a question.
I'm 20.
As a mathematician and a physicist, what in the hell do you know about human biology?
And you got your law degree from Harvard. What do you know about biology? You got your law degree from Harvard.
And frankly, And frankly, I would ask another question. If your logic is so flawed, as a mathematician and a physicist, I would suggest that whichever institution gave you an award, revoke it immediately.
There's a popular saying that school doesn't make you smart, it makes you educated, and there are a lot of educated fools.
Does white privilege exist?
Yeah, I think it could in some aspects.
Do you pay reparations?
Oh, yes. It's like, well, the black community is very important and it's part of the U.S.
Okay, well, we're going to give you an opportunity here. Topher, part of the black community.
Hello, nice to meet you. I'm Declan.
You say you would support black reparations, right? Personally, right?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
So would you give me $20 for lunch?
Yeah, sure. If I had it on me, I don't have money on me.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
We don't need it, man. You know, a lot of times people, especially with the federal government and what is already done,
right?
You know, as black people, I really don't trust the government. So I don't think reparations are a good thing.
Okay.
Because you're going to have to tax people.
Right, that's...
Now you got to dictate who you're going to tax, right?
Yeah.
And now you got to dictate and find out who actually came from ancestors of slaves, right?
Very muddy, yeah, I can see.
And you know, white people were slaves too, right?
Right, yeah.
So now you got to pay white people.
Yeah.
I thought we all just contribute that to the freedom that we have in America. We've sown all that effort, all that into what makes America today, right?
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
No reparations.
Yep.
This kid will agree with whatever the people around him are saying, easily molded and manipulated. College professors have so much power.
Are you saying that men should not be allowed to have Barbie dolls?
I did not say that whatsoever, but I'm saying there's certain character attributes and traits of how young men should be raised and how young ladies should be raised.
You are defining that women should be raised in one way and men should be raised in another.
Without a shadow of a doubt, yes. Men are better at some things than women, and women are better at some things than men.
What things are men better at?
Lifting heavy objects. Women are better caretakers and nurturers. Women are more organized.
I'm sorry, say that again?
That men are usually stronger physically than women, that is true.
How is that naturally better? Like,
I'm not saying better. I'm not saying one sex or gender is better than the other. They're different.
I can see your point. I can see that men do have more testosterone.
Oh, okay,
so
that's what I'm saying. So there's differences.
Yes, but...
Therefore, men are better at certain things than women, and women are better at certain things than men.
I never get tired of the dumbfounded look on liberal students' faces when they start to realize they aren't winning a debate.
Men do not menstruate. Only women menstruate. Now, you can call yourself whatever you want.
Cis men don't menstruate, but trans men do menstruate.
No,
Same
they
as
don't.
non-binary people.
Only women.
Menstruating is not exclusive
Yes,
to
it
cis
is.
women. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
So explain to me as to why my body menstruated at some point.
If your chromosomes are XX and you're young, you menstruate. If you're XY, you don't.
Correct, but what about trans men and non-binary?
They're
We're
not
excluding
men.
a whole group of people
They're women
that
dressed
menstruate.
as men.
Well, what's a man to you? You define a man for me.
You have chromosomes that are X and Y. That's what a man is.
So why are we just looking at the science of this as an
The
example
science.
when we've learned sex and gender identity are they're completely different things.
They're not completely different
They are
things.
completely different.
Completely different words.
Sex is what you're born with, the sexual reproductive organs you have. Gender is what you identify with. They're completely
Well, I don't
different
accept that
things.
distinction. You have to argue for it. You're just giving a conclusion. You're just making it up.
I wish my bank account would identify as a millionaire.
This is controversial for me to say, but I'm going to tell you what I think. I believe that transgenderism specifically is a mental health disorder. I believe it's a mental health condition.
Okay.
Well, no. We're going to finish this. This is good. We have to have open conversation in this country. But I don't think the thing to do.
Health disorder.
Well,
it's how they feel.
Well, let me. If I'm going to give you a chance to respond if you'd like, but we can't have an open debate in this country if we're not able to state our views.
That's how they feel.
That's how they feel. And you know what? I'll tell you a story, and you deserve to hear this. I met two young women in this race about 6 months ago. Their names were Chloe and Katie, two young women. They're in their 20s now. Both of them had their breasts cut off. One of them had her uterus removed.
Okay.
They're in their 20s. They regret that decision. One of them wants to have kids. She'll never have kids. The other one will never breastfeed her children. They'll never be the same because they had that done to them when they were teenagers. So no, when a young person shows up and says, my gender doesn't match my biological sex, they're asking for help.
But you just said 20. That's not
They happened to them when one girl was 13 when it happened to her. She's in her 20s now and regrets it. This is what's wrong in this country. We will look back at this and say this was barbaric that we allowed this to happen in this country. That is not compassion. That is cruelty.
She wasn't expecting, nor was she prepared to have a conversation. Like most activists, she only came to shout.
Down the front there, you who's 20, is your life better? Are you happier? Is everything better now that you're slightly smaller than you were before?
Absolutely, and I'm not a little bit smaller, I'm a lot smaller. Like, my question to you is, can you honestly say that you are 100% happy and healthy? Like, you have no medical conditions whatsoever, you have no problems at all with your health?
I think it's really interesting that I feel like I need to justify my existence in this room.
No, but hang on a minute. You asked her to justify her decision.
I asked her if she was happy. I didn't ask her to justify what her health issues now or if there is any.
But have you got any health issues?
No, I'm perfectly happy.
It isn't fat shaming, it's called being honest.
Are you familiar with that literature?
Well, yeah, I've read the book, but I don't remember anything about it. It was for like a college class. Like, let's be honest, nobody remembers the books they read in college.
Sounds like a great value proposition to go to college.
No, it is, trust me. But like, but you didn't go to college, so I guess you wouldn't know.
It's true, I didn't. So let me ask you though, does that mean that I'm not able to have this conversation with you? Because I actually remember the book and you didn't, and you paid for it.
This kid brags about going to college, shames someone for not going to college, then proves college is useless.
Don't talk over each other.
You know what the issue is?
Very funny.
You know what the issue is? They are useful idiots like you that are validating ascientific nonsense. There's no such thing as gender identity. Being trans-identifying is a mental illness. A reality that exists only in your head should not be validated, and specifically not at the expense of people that are just going about their business trying to win sporting tournaments or trying to use
There's useful idiots like you that are leading to the death of trans people.
Because guaranteed,
all right, let Francesca respond.
Then you can basically go to an island where all women think like you, and you can compete with all the biological men you want, but do not impose your backward views on the rest of us and have the audacity to call us regressive.
The fact there are no trans men playing in men's pro sports should tell us all we need to know about this argument.
So what is a woman?
Why do you ask that question?
I just really like to know.
What do you think the answer to that question is?
Well, I'm asking. That's why I came to a college professor who's this is what you do.
What other kinds of answers have you gotten?
A lot of like this, where you're not answering, and I've gotten a lot of that. So
I think it's interesting that you say that some of the people you've interviewed have been reluctant to answer it, and I think that has a lot to do with the questions that preceded it, and the way that you've conducted yourself in the interview.
How have I conducted myself?
How do you think you've conducted yourself?
You just really don't want to answer the questions, do you?
I came today very willing and enthusiastic about answering questions about women's and gender sexuality studies, which is the work that I do.
You wanted to answer questions about women's studies, and so shouldn't the first answer you should be able to provide is what exactly is a woman?
Well, for me, it's actually a really simple answer, and that's a person who identifies as a woman.
But what are they identifying as?
As a woman.
But what is that?
As a woman.
Do you know what a circular definition is?
I do.
What you're doing right now, where a woman is a woman.
Mm-hmm. Well, because you're seeking what we would call in my field of work an essentialist definition of gender. I think it sounds like you would like me to give you a set of biological or cultural characteristics that are associated with one gender or the other.
I'm not seeking any type of definition, I'm just seeking a definition.
A wise man once said, it's hard to win an argument with a smart person, but it's damn near impossible to win an argument with a stupid person.
Do you think that having agreed upon objective reality on age is important?
Yeah, but that's not within the concept of gender.
Why does reality stop when gender gets discussed?
Because I'm not thinking about people of different ages.
Why not?
No, this is more about gender.
Well, no, hold on.
Well, but I have a limit.
But gender is where does that limit come from, and why do you believe in the limit for age but not for biology?
Because I feel that gender is an is an aspect of somebody they can believe. I don't believe that age falls into that.
You're saying, though, that gender is a personal feeling or belief that somebody has about their existence, regardless.
Yes, within gender, there's some things that they don't, like being an animal or being 90.
Right, but the moral premise of that is that your biology, your chromosomes, do not dictate your reality.
This must be the first time she's had someone to objectively talk to about this. Poor woman is dying to join a higher cause. She just picked the wrong one.
I'm an extremist because I say no abortions. And if that makes me extremist, hell yeah, I'm extremist because killing babies is wrong.
Your extremism causes women to almost die, causes women to die.
Do you think you and your support of abortion is causing people to die? You just said that my view that there should be no abortions ever is causing women to die. That's a pretty freaking big charge. Women die every year from legal abortion. Not to mention the 800,000 to a million babies who die.
You're saying, okay, women die from abortion. I'm in favor of women being able to choose to have an abortion. So I want women to die.
Well, that's the position you just argued for me, sir. No, that's what you just said I am. You said because I said there'd be no abortions, no exceptions, that I am responsible for women dying. And what I'm saying is, if you advocate for abortion, you are responsible for the women who died from legal abortion, not to mention the 800,000 to a million children.
She used his own circular reasoning to make him look stupid, left him dumbfounded.
Do you know what the leading cause of death for pregnant people is?
Pregnant people? Mothers? Women?
If you'd like to call them mothers, not all of them are mothers, but if you'd like to call them that.
What are they if they're not mothers?
They're pregnant people.
What people other than mothers are pregnant?
It's interesting because you come into this conversation, trying to hold this moral superiority. But when I use inclusive language, which it only takes a couple extra syllables to use inclusive language,
to include
and
who?
It seems to include people who don't identify as women but can become pregnant.
So you're telling me that in order to be a moral person, I need to accept the idea that a man can really become a woman. That's a prerequisite of my being a moral person.
I mean, yes.
I would like to identify, I do identify actually, as the correct person on this issue. And I would just ask that you accept and affirm my identity.
That's not your identity.
That is my, I promise you, that's my identity.
A man defending mothers over a woman. Sign of the times.
How would you define female?
Through my training in healthcare, there are several different categories for how we define sex. People bring up chromosomes. People also bring up hormone levels. People bring up all sorts of other categories. Lots of people don't fit neatly into a gender binary, even people we don't consider to be intersex. It's a complicated spectrum.
It's not complicated, but you also didn't define. So what is a woman? What is a female? What do these words mean?
It's complicated, and I know you're not going to like that answer, but that's because there are no simple answers in human biology.
It is absolutely ridiculous that we as a civilization have arrived to the point that a conference has to be held to explain this.
Do you believe in the climate crisis?
Yes.
Well, the animal agriculture, farming and fishing is a leading cause of the climate crisis.
You know what's also a leading cause of climate crisis? Planes which carry vast amounts of your avocados and your almonds from California and fly them thousands of miles to your table here in your vegan cafes. And then they also go in trucks. And that is an environmental hazard too. So you're not only are you killing billions of bees, you're destroying the planet. And yet you have the brass neck to sit here in between munching your almonds and your avocados and start preaching to me about how virtuous you are about not killing animals.
I swear this lady is one step away from shedding tears.
Let's talk to somebody who spent Valentine's Day alone. Let's see. Virgo men are the worst. You know what's funny about this? Before I even defend myself, I don't even care. I don't even believe in this shit, but I can't let it slide, okay? Virgo men and Aquarius men. You're Aquarius? Oh, I thought you were annoying. I'm sorry. I thought you were... I'm so sorry. I thought. That's my bad. Why do you think Virgo men are the worst, though? You don't fuck with them? Look, I would fuck you. I haven't washed my hands since petting a dog. I don't want to do that to you. It smells like an Aquarius.
That wasn't a roast, that was a barbecue. If you got to the end of this video, you're another step closer to being unwoke, and you deserve a big thumbs. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next one.